Hi, I'm Mark Braunlich. I'm from Colorado Springs. I'm a private citizen. I lived in the Soviet Union for a while, and so free speech rights, especially political free speech, is very significant to me. And today is the 220th anniversary of the Bill of Rights being added to the Constitution in December 15th, 1791.
I did not know that.
So we've come a long way from Congress making no law abridging free speech, but as far as campaign finance, that horse left the barn. What concerns me is this, just standing here, I get a sense of citizens being caught in a political crossfire in all this. And as I saw in Russia, it was always the citizens who were caught in these kind of interdepartmental battles. And what happened was what would happen here. If people can't call the Secretary of State's office and get an answer, they'll just be trained to evade, to be under the radar, to whatever. So I appreciate your effort to consolidate these campaign laws in a way that can be read, especially by newcomers to the political process. And that's what really concerns me, because I wasn't very political up until a few years ago, but I see that there's a distinction to be made between those special interest groups and money in politics that know the rules, that know the ropes, and that when you, especially my concern is the issue committee, when you start making and regulating free speech of citizens just entering this political sphere of, two people, $200. I know that was changed out of the 10th Circuit Court, but then I guess a district court said that you didn't have the authority to put it to $5,000, which I consider rational. But when you start limiting newcomers into the process, I think the line has really been crossed, and that infuriates me. And that, hear Senator Morrison here in this exchange, but you have a situation of four guys around a coffee table and they say, hey, I don't like this annexation. Why don't we do something together? Yeah, let's put in 50, and all of a sudden they don't realize they're an issue committee that is subject to, as far as I'm concerned, harassment, legalized harassment that is in this bill. That anybody can bring a complaint against these guys, and then all of a sudden they're in ALJ and they could be taken to court and penalties. It's just absurd to me. And I sit here and I hear all this legalese. I mean, again, the citizens and free speech is getting caught in this political crossfire, and I'm not the only one that's a little bit concerned about it. As far as the $200 limit being in the original Amendment 27, which was codified in Article 28, I don't get the intent of that. The intent of that amendment was sold as to keep out the corrupting influence of big money in campaigns. Now, how do you go from that to $200 for an issue committee? I just get the intent in there is more malevolent. It seems to be the intent is to keep newcomers out of the process. And what it does, it gives a disproportionate influence to those moneyed groups, special interests, that know how to play the game. And they can keep the newcomers out through this legalized intimidation, both by the numbers of regulations and that they have to try to understand, the reporting, and then also the threat of complaints being filed against them. So I just wish everybody would step back a little bit and say, what kind of chilling process is this having, especially on newcomers, which we're getting a lot more of. So I applaud your efforts to recodify this. I also applaud your effort to change the issue committee threshold to $5,000. I mean, why should a group of citizens under $5,000, I don't care if one person puts in $4,000, as long as you have a rational threshold after which they have to register. I mean, that's bad enough, but I think people need to loosen their grip a little bit on this, because there's a lot of intimidate. You know out there in the general public, people are going, oh no, forget that. And I think that's the intent of stuff like this.